Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dorinda and today we are going to be reading my fall TBR for a week. Also, by the way, I'm sorry if you hear a bunch of noises. I have laundry going on. I have my apartment complex is vacuuming outside my door. I also have the fan on. So if you hear a bunch of noises, I am so sorry about that. In my last video, I had failed to read my fall TBR. I had started off telling you guys about it and I was like, I'm gonna read Six of Crows, and then I went book haul shopping for my birthday and I just got very sidetracked. So today, this week, we are going to be reading my fall TBR. So we are going to be doing a little bit something special with that. We're going to be also counting how many pages I can read a day to see also just roughly what does my week look like. I am a mother and I also am very busy. I'm also a server. I work, so I will be busy. So this is a realistic how many pages do I read a week less reading my fall TBR. So we are going to be starting with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This book I started a little bit last night, so I am 45 pages in. I'm on chapter 5 and so far I actually really do enjoy it. It's super fast paced because it is written in a high schooler report of it. She does a lot of interviews and so you're reading her typed out interview. It's really fast to read, it's pretty quick, but it's really good. So far it's basically about a girl named Pip and she's really interested in this murder case that happened. Honestly, it's not even necessarily a murder case because they don't know for sure that she got murdered, I think. No, that's a lie. It is a murder case. They just don't know who exactly did it for sure. They're just assuming it is this one guy and she wants to prove him innocent. So it's basically her journey on trying to prove him innocent. I'm really excited to read this. So that's what we're going to be reading today. So we'll start from there and see how much I can read today. So I forgot to mention that it is Monday. So that is the start of this week. Sip on this and read some of my book. So I just want to say that I love this book. I love the way that we are following Pip and her journey in trying to discover the night. Like we're trying to discover it with her. It reminds me of that game that people would buy where they get all this information for a cold case or something like that and then they have to like figure it out. It's not a real case, but it's like something that people would buy because they really are into that type of stuff. It reminds me of that because I'm like reading it, I'm trying to pick up what Pip's picking up, like the inconsistencies or things that don't make sense, or you know, this person's acting in a certain way, and it's just so good. Like I think this is so good. It's my first book that I've ever read like this and I really am enjoying it. I know I'm pretty early on, but it just goes by like that. So I'm excited to continue to read it. Hello! It is the next day. Today is Tuesday and I know I last left you, I was like cooking some tomato soup and grilled cheese and I kind of tried to film some of it, but I ended up not filming the whole thing because by the end of it I was so hungry that I just ate the food, but it was so good. My husband said it was one of his favorite meals that he ever had, so I highly recommend. I can give you guys the recipe if you want to know the recipe, but it was really good. So to talk about how many pages I read yesterday, I did read a little bit and then I also did listen to the audiobook, which I love the audiobook. If you ever are gonna read Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I highly recommend the audiobook because she does like interviews, and in the audiobook the interview has a different voice and it's really cool. I actually really enjoy it, but I also like the book as well. So I started off with 45 pages and I read to 150 pages, so that leaves me at 105 pages that I read yesterday. So today I was actually able to read a little bit that I didn't get to film this morning, and I went from 105 to 187, no, 105. I did page 150 to 187, so if we get my calculator out, I've read 37 pages so far, so I am going to read a little bit more. This book is so good, by the way. Just a little update. I think that this is great. I think this is a really good beginner murder mystery. Pip is just so ambitious and so bold and so daring, and the way that she just like goes about trying to figure out this case is honestly so fun to read. I feel like I am almost halfway about halfway. So I'm excited. I'm gonna sit down on the couch, read a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. So I just want to say that this is giving me Pretty Little Liar vibes a little bit, only from what I just read. I read the end of chapter 21. If you've read this book and you want to go back and see what I'm talking about, I just don't want to give up too much. This is so good. I really like the way that this book is written out. I like her case study. I like how she does like little journal entries about like what she's learned, but also like you get regular, you know, chapters of her just talking and experiencing life. I love the interviews. I love everything about this. This is just such a good book, and I'm so glad I'm reading it because I never would have picked up a book like this, but it's so good, and it is good for the fall because it's like murder mystery, and like she's in school too, which school like kind of reminds you of the fall, obviously. Just want to say I really like that. So it's the next day, and I read a little bit last night that you saw on film. I tried my best to film at nighttime. The lighting isn't the best, but I did get through a lot of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Let's look at the statistics real quick on my phone. Yesterday, Tuesday, I started off at page 150 and I read to page 304, and so that makes 154 pages that I read. So this morning I started on page 304, and this morning before I took my daughter to school I did get to read a little bit, and then I listened to the audiobook on the way home, and then I've been reading while my phone battery has been charging. So currently I'm at page 369, which makes me at 65 pages read today. This book, first of all, I just want to say this book is so good. The twist and turns of finding out who's done it, what's going on, going back to suspects, finding out things is so good. I'm towards the end of the book. I'm on chapter 48, and it's good. Like, it's good. And I do know that there's 2 more books in this series, and so, you know, I'm getting towards the end and I'm like, how is there 2 more books? But now I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like so much jam-packed in here, and it's such like a small book. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome, and I'm really happy that I picked this up. So I think that I'm going to sit back. I have a lot of time to read, so I think I'm gonna sit back, finish this book, and then pick another one of my fall TBR books to read. So yeah, come read with me. Finished it and it was really good. I definitely think I'm going to be rating it 4.5 stars. I've never read a mystery book before, so I don't even know what a 5-star mystery book would be like, so maybe it will change in the future, but I definitely think it's 4.5 stars. I think that every single question, no, I shouldn't even say every single question got answered, but what you are wanting to find out gets found out in this book. And I know before I said that I'm curious to see what her other books are about, and then I was like, oh, but there's something still not wrapped up that will probably be wrapped up in the second book, but that's actually not true. It actually gets wrapped up in this book. So I'm curious to know what the other 2 books are about. I'm not gonna like rush to buy them and read them, but I might listen to them on audiobook, because when I was listening to this on the audiobook, I actually really enjoyed it. I think that I definitely will give that a shot if I do want to continue this story. But I do think that this is a really good book. I think that if you want to listen to or read a mystery book, you should definitely give this one a shot. Honestly, I really love it and I highly recommend it. Now on to my next book. I am going going to continue to read some of my fall TBR. So the next book I'm going to try to tackle is A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers. This is a Christian fiction book, so you may have probably never heard of it before. I've never heard about it before. I did get it at Half Price Books. I'm curious to see how it goes. It is pretty long though. It is 507 pages long. We'll see how it goes and I'll keep you guys updated. So far I have read 83 pages from Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So let's start this book. So I am about 30 pages into A Voice in the Wind and it's actually pretty good so far. It takes place like right after Jesus gets crucified, and like it's about a woman who is living with her family in Jerusalem, and like the Romans are coming in and basically killing and murdering all of the Jews in Jerusalem, and she has like a family who is basically starving and she has not left her house, but she can hear people dying around her, and the Romans kind of break into her house, and the Roman who breaks into her house like has sympathy for her, and he doesn't kill her or her sister, and he takes her to where there's like captives. And then now we're switching to someone else's perspective, so I'll keep you updated on that. But honestly, so far it's pretty good. I do like older books. There's this book called Mists of Avalon that I've read before, which takes place during King Arthur's time, and it is a fictional book, but I thought it was so good, and it's kind of giving me the same vibes as this in terms of how old it is and the time frame it's written in. But we are in the kitchen because I wanted to just show you guys what I really love to eat as a nice snack slash lunch. So I'm sure you've heard of these before. They are super popular. They're the steamed chicken soup dumplings from Trader Joe's. And I actually don't have a microwave. My apartment doesn't come with one and I didn't really feel like buying one. So I actually just use the stove and the oven and my air fryer for everything. But these are so good steamed. I highly recommend steaming them. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes. So what I think is really good with them that I basically wanted to tell you about, not really necessarily the dumplings because I know they're good, but it's the sauce that I make that goes with them. So I like to make it myself, and I do put it in this little bowl that I make in ceramics class. It's nothing crazy, but I did make it myself, so I'm pretty proud of it. So first I'm going to add some soy sauce into it, and just an FYI, I'm not really big on the measurements. Then I have this General Soy stir fry sauce. All of this is from Trader Joe's, by the way. So I just put a little bit of this in there. Organic toasted sesame oil. And then some crunchy chili onion sprinkles. We're back on my reading couch because I feel like this is the only place that I read. But I am on chapter 4 now, page 56, and this book is actually really good. So far we've seen 3 different perspectives. We've seen the first perspective of the main girl that I think the book was written about on the back, who I kind of talked about. Her name is, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like How to say your name?
Hadassah.
So the main girl's name is Hadassah. And then we get this viewpoint, which I kind of told you about when I was like, is this a romance book? Because in the back it says, torn by her love for a handsome aristocrat, a young slave girl clings to her faith. And so the second perspective is about this German fighter, and his name is, I don't know. These names, man.
Atreus.
Atreus. That is his name. So he is like this Roman fighter who basically gets captured, and he has to like fight for the Romans in their like games that they have. And then the third different perspective is Marcus, who he is a Roman man. He's the son of this wealthy merchant, and basically his dad just wants him to be a politician, but he's like, I don't want to be a politician. I'm gonna die if I'm a politician. All my friends were politicians and they all died. I want to be a money maker, and I think that's what an aristocrat is. So I'm guessing Marcus is actually the love interest, not Atreus. I like this book so far. I don't know if it would be everyone's cup of tea. Like if you're used to this mainstream very popular book talk videos, but I think that if you do like different types of books and you do like more older books, like placed in older time frames, I think that you would like this book so far. I think it's good. I know I'm only 56 pages in and there's like 500 pages, so we'll see how the actual story, how the plot goes, but so far I like the writing. I think the writing is great. I think she does a really good job of describing what's going on, and of course she's talking about different cities and names that I'm not familiar with, but I'm not finding it confusing. I don't know if you watched my other video when I was talking about Six of Crows and how Six of Crows was kind of confusing because of the names and the cities and everything like that, but I don't find this confusing and I really am enjoying it. It's really easy to read and it's definitely like a smaller text too, and I feel like I'm flying through it pretty fast, so I highly recommend. I'm super interested in it and I'm actually really excited I'm interested in it, and it does give fall vibes because it's older, which I know is a little weird, like why does that give you fall vibes, but because it takes place in an older time frame, I imagine it to be like not cold, but like fall just gives like cozy vibes, and going back in time gives cozy vibes. I don't know, makes sense to me, but I am enjoying it. I think it's good, and as a Christian woman it is nice to read a Christian fiction book. Hello. It is the next day. It is Thursday, and I don't know if you can tell, but I am so sick. I am so sick. I did not want to film this video. I've been barely able to even get out of bed / the couch all day. I'm literally still on the couch, which you always see me on the couch, but I've literally not been able to leave this couch. So why am I filming a video? Why am I updating you guys, you may ask? Because I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to this video, to updating you guys every day with how many books and how many pages I have read. So yesterday I got a lot of reading done. I had a lot of time on my hands to read, and so I got a lot of reading done. Of course you have, because if you're at this point you saw yesterday's clip. But I finished Good Girls Guide to Murder, and so that was 83 pages read, and then I started The Voice in the Wind, which is really good, by the way, and I read up to page 148, so that makes my total pages read 231, which is a lot, I would say. Sometimes that can be a whole book if it's a shorter type of book. Today, I have read a little bit. Let me go grab my book. I left off on 148, and right now I'm on page 173. I've been so sick that I haven't been able to read that much. I tried. I actually just got some different things in the mail. I got some tabs so I can start tabbing my book. This book, there's been so many quotes, especially since it's a Christian book, so there is a lot of words that are scripture. There's just a lot of thoughts that the main character has that the other characters will ask her, and they're just so fascinated with her faith and her religion, and like her answers to the questions are just so beautiful. I really do enjoy this book. It isn't like what you think it is. It takes place over 4 different perspectives. I think I talked about the other 3 yesterday with Marcus, and then the other 2 I don't know how to say. We're gonna call the barbarian German warrior Addie, and then we're gonna call the main character Hattie, just because I'm horrible at names, but they have real names and I'm not saying them. I'm not doing it justice, but just bear with me, okay? My brain is barely there. It's really good. And then we have the perspective of Julia, which is the sister of Marcus. And Julia is probably like my least favorite perspective, but the way that Hattie is with Julia is just so sweet and just so amazing. And it really is a good way to even view your own life and your own relationships with people that you may not enjoy. And just the way that like God speaks to her in it. It's really amazing. Like this book is actually really good. And obviously if you're not a Christian, you may not enjoy the Christian themes in it, but there is action in it. There is a little bit of love in it. There is reality in it. It's so good. Like it's so good so far. And so I'm excited to continue to read it. But back to how many pages I've read so far. So 173 minus 148 is 25 pages. So I've only read 25 pages. So I'm gonna hopefully continue to read. My husband just took my daughter to the park, so I have a little bit of time to just read on my own. And I'm gonna try to do that. Like I said, I'm not feeling good at all. So obviously I know I look like sickly probably to you guys, but I'm gonna start reading a little bit. I don't know how much I'm gonna get done, but yeah, I just wanted to update you guys and share how much I read yesterday. Hi. I'm so sick. Can you hear my voice? That's how sick I am. I know the last time I saw you guys or talked to you guys was Thursday, and I was like, I'm so sick, like I shouldn't be filming this video. And then the next day I lost my voice. I was like, I literally can't film. I couldn't even read. I had no time to read the last 2 days because I've been so sick and I've just been like laying down and sleeping. So I really haven't been able to do anything, but I do have my calculations though. for my reading. You know, it is supposed to be like a realistic, how many pages do I read in a week? So I feel like this is realistic. Like, you get sick, things happen, you're busy, so this is realistic. So Thursday I read The Voice in the Wind, 148 pages, 148 to page 182, and that's 34 pages total. Yesterday I read 182 to 219, and that's 37 pages total. So that leaves me today at 219. Do want to update you guys, I started to tab. I got some tabs and I've been starting to tab. This book is so good. I think about this book. I want to dive into this book. It's just so good. The things that they talk about are so amazing. Like, they talk about different like values and even just valuing your life, and the perspective of the parent of Marcus and Julia, which is like this Roman, really wealthy man. The way that he talks about, here, I'm gonna try to find the quote. It says, "What happens to a society when all restraints are removed? I see our children consumed with watching blood be spilled in the arena. I see them seeking an unending diet of sensual pleasure. Where does it all lead? How can intemperate minds be free when they're slaves to their own passion?" And he's just reminiscing on his kids and how spoiled they are and self-centered, and all they care about is seeing pleasure, experiencing pleasure, and it's just like, where have I led them? You know, they're so wealthy, they have everything that they could ever want at the grasp of their hands, but look who they are as people. It's a Christian fiction book, and I feel like it's showing you, the author is trying to show you, like, without God, without values, without morals, we are just like animals. We're literally animals just seeking out pleasure, and it's so good the way that they talk about it in this book. The cover is just like, oh, I don't really want to read that, or oh, Christian fiction, I don't really want to read this. This book has such good values, and this book really questions yourself and like how you even interact with the world around you. I love this book, so I'm excited to read and dive back into this book. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna enjoy it, I'm gonna eat it up, and yeah, you guys can watch me and I'll update you guys later. I feel like I'm mouth breathing because I can't breathe out my mouth. I feel like I am so sick. This book's good though. So it's the next day. It is Sunday, and I still have lost my voice. I'm kind of getting it back. Actually, let me go grab my drink. I have this wonderful drink to help me soothe my throat and also give me caffeine. It's actually matcha green tea from Trader Joe's, but it's unsweetened, and I didn't know it was unsweetened when I bought it. So I mixed it with like the leftover of my pumpkin cold brew that I got from Whole Foods. It was really good. Sorry about my voice. I know it's like not the best, but yeah, I know we're also in a new location. This is actually the bookshelf that's in my bedroom, and it does have like some miscellaneous books, so if you're wondering, but it also has some of my other books on here as well. But my husband is watching football, so I thought I would film in here for today. So for yesterday and how much I read, I actually read quite a few pages. I read from 219 to 341, which is a total of 122 pages total, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoy this book so much. I know I was talking so much in the last clip about this book. It is just so good. When I was looking at the reviews about what people were saying about this book, a lot of people were rating it 5 stars, honestly, but the people that had complaints about this book had complaints about the characters and like where they're at. It's because they all have like character flaws, but what I think is good about them is they kind of speak, I was actually thinking about this today in church, but they kind of speak about the different character flaws that we as humans have. Even like the slave has character flaws in her own way and in her own faith, and like it's really cool to see. And obviously I haven't read the whole series, so I don't really know exactly where this series is going to go, but I'm assuming that the character development of the other 3 characters who don't know God are going to change as well. And so to have 3 different characters, one who is just plagued by money, another who is plagued by like sensual desire and just like male attention, and then the other who is just a slave to society. I know it's a little bit different because he's literally a slave. He's literally made to fight as a gladiator, but he just doesn't have any like hope, and he's just like caught in this experience that he's having and the kills that he has to have, and he just doesn't have anything to cling on to. It's just interesting how the story is getting developed, but I highly recommend it. I highly love it, and I have been tabbing it a lot. I think that there's such great quotes in here, and I'm really excited to review this. I might like make a video of reviewing this book and maybe even the series when I finish it. So I really like that. I'm excited to read more about it, but I think I might be filming it while my husband's on the couch, so you can kind of get a little bit of a viewpoint on that and our Sunday activity together. I can't read too much today. I do have plans later on today. We'll see how much I can read today, and then I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. It is a couple days later. Was just so busy yesterday. I haven't got the opportunity to film, but I want to update you on Sunday and how much I read. We left off, sorry about my earbud, I was editing a video, but as you can tell, I'm still sick, so also sorry about that as well. But we left off on page 341 and we read until page 397, so that leaves 56 pages total on Sunday. And I'm gonna calculate how many pages I read altogether this week too, because I'm curious. So altogether this week I did read 822 pages, which I feel like is a lot, but I also feel like it's not that much because I feel like I normally read more. It's just been such a brutal week with me being sick, me losing my voice, and me just like dying. So that concludes today's video. I did get to basically almost read 2 books from my TBR. I'm almost done with The Voice in the Wind. I think this is a great book, so I will update with you guys in the future when I do finish it, because I am probably like 100 pages to go, I would say. So I'm really excited to finish it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.